For more insights into the IAEA chief's visit to Iran, let's cross live to Ehsan Keivani in Tehran. Ehsan, would you say, due to this visit, mutual trust between the IAEA and Iran is restored, or at least partially restored?
Thank you, Deng. The IAEA chief's visit to Tehran is just a week before the Vienna nuclear negotiations are resumed after being halted for a few months due to power transition in Iran. Rafael Grossi's urged to visit Iran and meet the Iranian officials to discuss the UN watchdog's access to surveillance cameras at nuclear facilities. As you know, the inspection cameras have been recording round-the-clock images of nuclear activities in Iran, but the IAEA's access to the footage is blocked. And based on previous agreements, Tehran will allow the agency to access the recorded footage only if nuclear talks to revive the JCPOA are positive in Vienna. One of the key concerns of the IAEA is the cameras at Karaj nuclear site on the outskirts of Tehran. This facility was the target of a foiled sabotage plot in June, and since then Iranian officials have criticized the IAEA for a possible leak of information about the facility, which resulted in an explosion, in fact. Therefore, just a week into Vienna talks, the watchdog is trying to refresh an agreement with Iran to make sure the footage can be recorded for a few more months. And Iran has repeatedly warned the UN nuclear watchdog that adopting, quote, politically tainted stances and issuing biased reports on Iran will undermine the constructive process of cooperation.
So, Ehsan, how does Iran see the IAEA's role in the upcoming talks, and actually talks following the U.S. unilateral withdrawal from the JCPOA? Because on Friday, the IAEA said Tehran had increased its stockpile of highly enriched uranium, exceeding the limit set in the JCPOA. Do you think it's really up to the IAEA right now? It looks like, because we just heard firm wording from your country's foreign ministry, it looks like it's totally up to the U.S. now.
Well, in fact, we need to see again what the commitments of the parties are in 2015 nuclear agreement. Before Washington unilaterally withdrew from the deal, Iran completely fulfilled its commitments, and all the IAEA reports confirmed Tehran's adherence to the deal, in fact. The other parties were supposed to lift all the sanctions, but Trump administration not only neglected the U.S. commitment, but left the deal and put the maximum pressure on Iran. Iran says as far as sanctions are not fully lifted and Tehran can access financial channels, it is no longer committed to enrichment levels in the framework of the nuclear deal. President Raisi's administration says Tehran's return to full compliance with the 2015 deal can happen only if the U.S. lifts all the sanctions and joins the JCPOA again. Otherwise, Tehran will continue enriching uranium, in fact, and install new centrifuges. Iran's new negotiators in Vienna say the nuclear deal will be restored only if Tehran can verify the effectiveness of possible lifting. This is exactly what was discussed by Rouhani administration's negotiators back in June. Let's not forget that Iran's parliament is also putting pressure on administrations to have guarantees from Washington not to withdraw again from the deal.
Thank you very much. Ehsan Keivani in Tehran.